closely with the Kisii County government to establish from the samples that they are collecting to the extent at which we need to move, and also the kind of medication that probably that needs to be done, and also what else needs to be done moving forward. I think that we have already sent our teams on the ground to get the samples so that we can establish what kind of a disease it is. So I want to ask the country to remain calm. Things are under control, and we will keep you informed as we move forward.
Yeah, that is definitely a matter of concern. Elsewhere, the National Cohesion and Integration Commission, NCIC, has ordered former Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua to desist from making statements that may stir ethnic hatred and incite violence in his political tackles with President William Ruto. Citing Mr. Gachagua's recent remarks on petitions seeking the removal of the Chief Justice Martha Koome, the commission ruled that the former DP was out of order, saying he was abusing freedom of speech. In the letter, NCIC noted that on the 23rd of February in Igembe, North Meru County, Gachagua made statements meant to stir up the emotion of a section of members of the Meru community. The commission faulted the former deputy president for warning Dr. Ruto not to visit Meru County if CJ Koome is removed from office. Since his ouster from office, the former deputy president has been on record criticizing the Kenya Kwanza regime over what he says are its failures in matters good governance. At the pinnacle of his frequent diatributes is President Ruto, who he accuses of betraying him and orchestrating his impeachment just 2 years after he helped him enter State House. All right, this was, you know, a very brave move, I must say, and this is why it pays to listen, because in a brave move, Prime CS Musalia Mudavadi has admitted systematic and implementation challenges with Social Health Authority, saying it is not yet perfect. Mudavadi admitted this while at the memorial service of Malava MP Malulu Injendi, saying government leaders have to be honest. He said that the government is continuing with its push to streamline the government's health plan, assuring that they will get it right.
Our people, katika mambo ya hospitali, SHA is still not yet perfect. The social health arrangement is not perfect. Haijakuwa sambamba kabisa. Bado kuna matatizo. Mimi kama mmoja ambaye yuko kwa serikali, sitaki kuficha niseme everything is all right. I would be lying. Na watu wa Malava walinifunza hapa kwa soko, hata kama ni mbaya tuambie tu, lakini usitudanganye. Kwa hivyo kuna shida, matatizo hapa na pale kwa health sector. Lakini kutatua sio kutoroka na kusimama kwa jukwaa na kutoa sarakasi, hapana. Let us find solutions. Saa hizi kula Amerikani, yule Trump amechukua kazi, sasa amefuta mambo ya usaidizi kwa sekta ya afya katika ulimwengu, mambo ya aid tusahau. Sasa ni sisi wenyewe tujitegemee, sisi wenyewe kama Wakenya tuchunge wagonjwa wetu. Ikiwa wale wameziba mashimo, wamefunga tap, wamefunga mfereji, nyinyi mnataka tutoe wapi pesa? Si ni kwetu sisi wenyewe? Tujipange. Kwa hivyo juhudi letu lengine, unfinished business, ni kuhakikisha we continue to streamline the universal healthcare program paka inyooke ili kila mtu apate matibabu.
Now, at least it's good they're admitting that there is a challenge in the implementation and the systems of SHA, instead of every time trying to force people to say that the thing is good, it's working. If it's not working, admit it's not working, then sort it out. You remember, this is the week that former Prime Minister Raila Odinga is supposed to tell the nation his next move, even though it's the worst kept secret. And now he continued his public consultation in Kilifi County after touring Mombasa on Sunday. Odinga was received by Kilifi County Governor Gideon Mung'aro, ODM Chairman and Kilifi County Speaker Teddy Mwambire, as well as several MCAs and party delegates. He jetted back into the county after losing the African Union seats and has demanded action from the government seeking compensation for demonstrators who lost their lives in the 2024 Gen Z's protests.
Wakasema shida iko hapa kiuchumi, wananchi wanaumia. Hali ya maisha, gharama maisha imepanda, ushuru iko juu, kupani matibabu, hii mambo ya SHA bado haijafanya kazi sawa sawa. Wako na shida. Kwa upande mwingine upande ya ugatuzi, shida hii ni kwamba pesa haiji ya kutosha hapa chini ya kufanya kazi sawa sawa. Vile vile wamesema ati mambo ya miundo msingi vile vile haendeshi sawa sawa. Mambo ya hii ujenzi ya masoko, hata hii affordable housing vile vile kuna changamoto. Kwa hivyo yale yote wanataka waone kama vile inavyofanyika. Lakini muhimu zaidi wamesema wanataka chama chetu cha ODM imarishwe. Na ODM iwe na nguvu.
Consultation yetu tumekubaliana kwamba ile mambo tulikuwa tunaendelea nayo ya NADCO reports na maneno mengine yote kama chama, wakati tulikuwa tukipigania kwa azimio, kwamba tumempa ruhusa baba aendelee nayo. Sisi kama Kilifi County na tunaunga mkono wale wengine ambao tayari ashashauriana nao kwamba aendelee, kwa sababu Kenya hii ni yetu sote pamoja, na hatuwezi kusema hata tukikaa kando ikiharibika bado tutalaumiwa tu. Afadhali turekebishe tukiwa hapo ndani. Tumempa uwezo baba aendelee atuwakilishe, na tunajua atatuwakilisha vyema. Asanteni sana.
Well, it's going to be a very difficult time for the former Prime Minister convincing mostly the Gen Zs that he's now interested in their affairs, because during the demonstration, according to the Gen Zs, he betrayed them. That's what they kept on saying. So let's see how they're going to respond to what he's saying right now. Now, Nairobi County has interdicted 2 officers, Dr. John Ntoiti, the acting director for revenue in the county, and Sankale Lempaka, director debt collection unit, for the garbage dumping incident witnessed last week at Stima Plaza. Nairobi Governor Johnson Sakaja, however, said no other fault has been committed by the county against the power distributor, and that the county will still seek payment of the 5 billion shillings owed for waylift charges, as it pays off 800 million to Kenya Power for its outstanding debt.
The dumping incident at Kenya Power headquarters was completely uncouth. It was wrong. It was it was something not sanctioned, Chairman. It is something that a government does not do. You know, it was completely off. I will explain the context within which what found our people there, but the dumping of garbage was very primitive. And you know, I lead a big institution. I have almost 20,000 staff. But the ultimate responsibility, the buck stops with me as a governor. And so on behalf of the staff, I apologize to the people of Kenya, to the people of Nairobi, to the residents and tenants and business people there. That should never have happened, and it will never happen under my watch. I will not allow that to happen again. And so let it be on record, because this is a house of record, that that action of dumping is something I condemn myself. And that is why when it happened, immediately, in less than an hour, actually less than 30 minutes, what was dumped was cleared. Immediately, we said you cannot have that. It is wrong. It is wrong. We have so far interdicted officers. The documents are here. within your package, I've interdicted 2 officers from the revenue department. It was actually a revenue operation, and I'll explain what was going on. Investigations are ongoing. We have an investigation department within the county, and we're also working with the police to make sure. In fact, we agreed to have a liaison. Nairobi is so important that working with the national government, especially when it comes to security, is critical.
Now, and that's the reason why it's always very important to, take care of yourselves, because I can assure you there's absolutely no way that these 2 individuals would have done what they did without the knowledge of the governor for 2 days. It's absolutely impossible, unless he's the most incompetent individual in the world. These 2 guys must have gotten instructions from somebody higher. It's only that there's no paper trail. That's just my thinking. Now, the 2 individuals, Moses Masiga, the Chancellor of Northwestern Christian University College, and his Vice Chancellor Jackson Khayamba, who were arrested on Friday holding a graduation ceremony and awarding degrees and doctorate at Wild Waters Nyali, yet they were not registered with the Commission for University Education, were arraigned Monday at Shanzu Court in Mombasa. The 2 were charged with over 100 counts, all in line with failing to comply with the set rules by the Commission for University Education. They were later granted a bail of 500,000 shillings each and a surety of a similar amount or a cash bill of 400,000. The matter is said to be mentioned on the 7th of April, where the prosecutor is expected to present proper charges before the court.
In the circumstances, I will give the prosecution time to avail proper charges before this court, charges that are manageable and are consistent with the law. In the meantime, each accused person is released on the following terms. Each accused to be released on a bond of 500,000 shillings with 1 similar surety or a cash bill of 400,000 shillings. The cash bill depositor or surety to appear with a letter from the area chief confirming that the accused persons are well known to them, mentioned on 7th of April for the prosecution to avail proper charges before the...
Now, this is very strange, because you waste for people 4 years of their life, and then you have the audacity to hold a graduation ceremony, as in now 2 middle-aged men alleged to have murdered businessman Campbell Scott will remain in remand for another 21 days to allow police to conclude investigations. Now, Scott, a British national, disappeared in Nairobi before his decomposing body was discovered in a forest in Makueni late February. Now, Alex Mutua Kithuka and Albanas Mutinda Nzioki were presented before Magistrate Lucas Onyina as they are being probed over Scott's death. The court was informed that preliminary investigations indicate Scott was taken to one of the suspects' house in Pipeline, Nairobi, where he is believed to have been murdered. The prosecution said that the 2 suspects allegedly attempted to access money using Scott's credit cards in Nairobi, Voi, and Mombasa. The matter will be mentioned on the 21st of this month. Investigators have been working with their counterparts in the UK, where Scott was based before traveling to Kenya on the 16th of February for a business meeting, but he disappeared the very next day.
And the supporting affidavit sworn by 1 Sergeant Philip Kilonzo on the same date and filed therewith. I have also considered the submissions made by the prosecution counsel and the response by the first respondent. From the contents of the supporting affidavit and the submissions made, the application meets the requirements of Section 36A of the Criminal Procedure Code. The first respondent and the second respondent to be held in police custody at Capitol Hill Police Station and Kilimani Police Station respectively for a period of 21 days as sought, and the matter be mentioned on 24th of March this year.
Now, in this story, what happens is that the Scottish police are working with the Kenyan DCI to try and investigate the murder of one of their own. Now, reverse the roles. A Kenyan has been murdered in the UK. Do you really think that the Kenyan police are going to go to the UK to try and help them investigate somebody from here, the death of a Kenyan? I don't know, maybe they do it, I don't know. Anyway, the High Court has dismissed an application by the former Kiambu Governor Ferdinand Waitito to be released on bond, pending hearing and determination of his appeal. Justice Lucy Njuguna said that the applicant had not convinced the court that his appeal had high chances of success. She also did not agree with Waitito that he ought to be released on bond owing to his ill health. Waitito has been in jail since the Anti-Corruption Court Chief Magistrate Thomas Nzioki found him guilty of conflict of interest and dealing with suspect property offenses after corruptly receiving millions from Kiambu County through the 588 million road tender. Waitito was given options of either paying a fine of 53 million shillings or serving a 12-year imprisonment. Waitito's advocate Danstan Omari had earlier filed an application at the High Court seeking to be admitted to a reasonable bond pending the determination of Waitito's appeal, which was valued at 50 million at the time.
This court can confirm that the diary of the court can accommodate the hearing of the appeals in under 2 months from now, meaning that the applicants will not have served a substantial part of the sentences, bearing in mind the respective sentences by each of the applicants. Having considered all the above, it is my finding that the applicants have not met the conditions for grant of bail pending appeal. The applications are hereby dismissed. The appeal shall be heard on priority basis, given that the applicants herein are in custody. Those are the orders of the court.
All right, now let's take a look at what the dailies are saying. We start off with the Standard, Ruto double speak, and then you have some of the things he has said and then gone against. You have him saying all non-essential travel by state and public officers is hereby suspended. No state officer and public servant shall participate in public contribution stroke Harambe's henceforth. Dang, dang. Now, the other side, he says, whenever we give, we do so to God. I've been trying to find where it's written in the Bible because I'm an ardent reader that when you give to God, it is returned by the bishops. And so he had said he would not be giving in public harambes, but he went ahead and did that. Then Sakaja regrets garbage dumping as 2 senior officials interdicted. Apologizing for killing our 30 fishermen, Senator tell Ethiopia. So finally, we now know that it was 30 people who died. We were kept on talking about 20, but now we know it's 30. Then healing power of forgiveness helps reunite man with son after 31 years. By the way, this is such, now these are the things that newspapers should focus on, because I think Kenya has a lot of manenos. People have so many issues in their hearts. You know, forgiveness does not help the other person. Forgiveness is for you. When you forgive somebody, you set yourself free, irrespective of whether the other person deserves to be forgiven or not. The moment you forgive them, you become free. Yeye watadil na Mungu vitu zake. But forgive. Let them be. Release them and you get free. So this is so beautiful, seeing a father and a son reuniting after 31 years and forgiving one another. Cattle rustling, how guns fell silent in Meru. Then Ruto's about turn on Harambes in churches breaks austerity pledge. Raila demands implementation of NADCO report. Parents, learners bear the burden of financial crisis in public schools. By the way, I was listening to a gentleman on social media. Actually, it's not a gentleman, it's Salasia, this MP. And he was castigating Raila over, some of the statement Raila was saying. And every time Raila was saying something and he was, juxtaposing it to what happened during the Gen Z's protest when he's talking about people being paid. And then he says, this guy, when we needed him during the Gen Z's protest, he turned against us, he betrayed us. That's what Salasia was saying. So, as I said, Raila is going to have a very difficult time getting the young people to believe him and take him on. 16 years on, journalist murder cover-up exposes legacy of fear and silence, which journalist says this. Gladys Kwamboka, widow of slain journalist Francis Nyaruri. Wildlife poisoning in the Maraputs species at risk. The Champions League offers Arsenal chance to salvage season as Real Madrid's Fantastic Four face Atletico test. The Nation newspaper, 124 billion wheat imports sink farmers into losses. We imported wheat worth 124 billion, yet farmers had wheat in the country. And now farmers are stuck with their wheat, despite the fact that we gave them fertilizer subsidies. So the wheat was the crop was very successful. And now they have nowhere to sell it because we imported wheat. Companies given the green light by the government to import wheat and their respective quantities. There is Kituif flour mills given 324,000 tons to be imported. Joy Millers, 200,000. Capwell Industries. If you do a very good research and investigative on this, you'll discover who owns these companies. Now, Tashanga, Ugandan minister distressed US tycoon and Kenyan ties to 81 million fake gold scam. There's a friend of mine, by the way, this gold thing, it's bad news. There's a friend of mine who basically was dealing or wanted to deal gold, and he got, some guys who told him they were going to get him gold, I think from DRC, then it was going to come through Uganda, then come to Kenya, and then, through processes, and then it would get to him. Well, he paid a lot of money because they would tell him, oh, the Ugandan government has confiscated, the URA is demanding money for this, and he sends money to pay the URA, and then after a while he's told the consignment is on the road coming. Then again the Ugandan police have arrested. I told the guy, dude, oh, you're being played, this gold thing, hey, mpaka wa leo hiyo ilipotea. Unajua hii imeenda. Money trail in hand for suspects who stole from murdered Briton. And these guys, when you look at them, they look like young men who can, you know, get their hands dirty and work and earn a living. They look like bright guys. Albanas Mutinda Nzioki and Alex Mutua Kithuka. Sasa, you will know crime does not pay. Stop abusing freedom of speech, former DP warned. Inside Gashagua's plot to drive UDA out of Mount Kenya region. Waititu to stay longer in jail as bond request declines. By the way, let me ask you, before you come to the courts, if you're in prison, are you allowed to go shower, you know, I don't know, I'm just asking, Don't get me wrong, I'm just asking. Are you allowed to go shower, probably be given a new, you know, a new suit or something like that? Because he surely looks smart. I mean, Jipaka Mafuta, he still looks very healthy. I'm just asking, by the way, not that I'm insinuating anything. Just asking. My teacher once told me, ask questions, even if they are stupid, just ask questions, you will get answers. Governors burn millions on rented homes against law. Aki this. Okay. You have got list of counties and amount allocated to the construction of governor and deputy residents. Just read it. It will help you make very important decisions in 2027. The Star newspaper revealed major cover-up in fake papers inquiry. Connected people, politicians, relatives survived the purge. Raw deal, billions down the drain, installed county projects. Machakos government, 1.3 billion. Tharakanithi, 528 million. Meru has 36 million. Wasingishu, 1.7 billion. Samburu 206 billion, Bomet 314.9 million, Nakuru 56.18, Kakamega 7.24 billion. Billions down the drain in stalled county projects. That's a lot of money. A lot of money. Okay. Then in the Star you have a story on why the Iron Lady Martha Karua rebranded after 16 years in the cold. Then you have NDC patients to get cheaper drugs in deal. So there are people who basically are in government, are very connected, and their relatives who survived the purge on fake papers. Watu walilipa shilingi, and as a result, ikakuwa weko sawa. State puts up fence to save Ngong Road forest. Oh, there's a Ngong Road forest. Wacha ndatembea Ngong Road nione ni forest gani hiyo. Oh, and then you have MyGov. If you basically look for tenders and stuff, I really don't need to tell you that the Star has MyGov, and that's where you get all government advertisement. Every time you see this MyGov in the Star newspaper, just know all other media houses were denied an opportunity to earn. Fireworks await. The 2023 National 400 champion Zeblon Ekwam has sent a stern warning to 200 sprinters ahead of the Kenya Athletics Nairobi track. Amewambia nini? Mstoke. Don't come. Just kidding. Anyway, we got Your Faith coming in at 9. And this period is mostly about praying because there's a lot of things that are happening in the country. If things like this can get away, major cover-up in fake papers inquiry, 124 billion wheat imports, mess up farmers, and then the double speak. This is an indicator that this country needs a lot of prayers. If you go to the traffic up Ivy Jogo Road, Donholm, and other parts of the country, you'll find the police officers who are now, you get like around 6 police officers in one place. But they have no interest whatsoever. These are traffic police officers. They have no interest whatsoever in trying to control traffic. All they are doing, I don't know whether they were, given contracts by KRA to collect on its behalf, but they're doing a very good job actually. They've been collecting a lot of taxes. $1 million question is whether it's submitted to KRA, but in terms of collection, they're doing an absolutely beautiful job. They collect diligently in the morning. Like every matatu has to give, like in some cases, if you're coming from Kariobangi, those matatus all the way, or you're coming from Cabanas all the way to Allsops, every police stop you give almost 50 or 100 shillings. So you give as you go. And then the next time you trip, you're still giving. The same thing, Upper Jogo Road at entrance to Rabai Road. You get around 5 police officers, very strategically positioned, including one Wanduthi. If you haper, he's after you. And all they're doing is KRA job. You remember research was done and it was revealed that every month the police collect taxes worth 3 billion shillings, but they never submitted to KRA. Tutaomba, Zindio. All right, let's do that at 9 a.m. Do have yourself a lovely morning.